The advice and opinions expressed by the host of Autism Live and her guests are meant solely as suggestion and should not be in any way construed as child-specific advice. Any choices you make in determining your child's treatment are completely at your own discretion.
Good morning and welcome to Autism Live. I'm Shannon Penrod. We're coming to you live from our studio here in Woodland Hills. And today's date, what is it? It's the 12th, right? The 12th of December, 2022. It's about to be 2023. I'm trying to warm up to that. We've got a great show for you today. A lot of things that we're going to talk about. One of the things that we are going to do today is that we are going to replay in its entirety our interview with the co-founders of a wonderful organization called Fun in Motion Toys. And they have two of our winners this year and this year's toy guide. And we started to play this interview last, Wednesday. And we had some technical difficulties on our end. And we had just gotten to the best part of the interview and you guys didn't get to see it. So we are going to play it in its entirety. And I think it's a really wonderful interview because it goes right to the heart of why we do the toy guide and why we talk about toys, because there is something that can be very healing about toys when they allow you to be in a brain space where you're allowed to be creative, where you're allowed to explore, potentially even, I hate the word fail, because what is fail, right? But not get it right the first time. Let's say that. And to practice and gain skills and gain confidence. And that's definitely what these toys too. And they have a whole line of toys that I super love now. But the two toys that are in our toy guide right now, the Shishibo one, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, that it won for our adult boredom buster this year. It won top toy last year, I think, in the teen category, if I'm not mistaken. And then Mosey this year, we had to give this in the caregiver category only because Rachel Bird loved it so much that we felt very strongly that, but this could, the kids would love this too. But for caregivers, I think this is a great connection tool. So it's called the Mosey, and it says go from ring to zing. And all you have to do is let go of it and it pops up into this wonderful thing. And just hold hands with your child. You'll do this. Everybody in the studio, everybody in our office has been doing this for days. Super duper fun. So we're going to talk about those toys and more. Here is my Shishibo right now in the star shape. How much do we love that? So we're going to talk with them. But first, I wanted to take a couple of minutes and say good morning to everybody. We are live right now, and you guys can be writing in questions. Right now on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and about a dozen other sites that we are live right now. If you watch us later on in podcast, you always have the ability to write into us. You can write in the chat on autism-live.com. It is not a direct chat back, but you can send us messages through that. It should be the message sender, not the chat. It should be the name of it. And we do answer questions from there whenever possible, but I don't know who you are when you write in there, so you have to watch the live shows to see if we answer your question. I don't like that about it, and we're going to change that in 2023, but it's there. But you can always write directly to me, Shannon, at autism-live.com if you have questions that you want to ask. Now, our fabulous Traven is showing you some of the different ways on the screen that you can be watching or listening to the podcast, like iHeartRadio, Spotify. We, Apple Podcasts, we're everywhere, right? We're on Facebook, we're on YouTube, Twitter, all of those places. In fact, we try to be any place that you can download a podcast for free. It is very important to me that this information be available to you for free. Our mission here, if you guys are unaware, is to provide information and inspiration. And I don't want it to be that you have to pay for that. So we're holding on to that as hard as we can. But how you guys can help us to stay free and on the air is by liking us, sharing us, subscribing, reviewing. When you guys review us on iTunes, oh my goodness. I want to say that our live chat during the show is open right now. So So if you're watching on Facebook, YouTube, or Twitter, you can be commenting right now, write in, say good morning, tell me where you're watching from, and then I'll be able to give you guys a shout out. Before we go back to this interview, there are several things that I wanted to talk about because we have things that just happened and things coming up, and I want to give you guys the 411. Most present in my mind right now is that we are just a few days, I was going to say weeks, but that would be wrong. We are days away. In fact, this Sunday will be our 10th annual Sensitive Santa event that Autism Live will be participating in. And this, to me, this is the whole holiday for me altogether. People ask me questions all the time. They're like, and how exactly does this benefit Autism Live, and how much money are you raising and all this stuff? And here's what I have to say. No, it's not about that. It's a really wonderful event about giving back. We have all these wonderful toys that we review throughout the year, and wonderful toy manufacturers who donate toys to us, really great toys that we then give away to families that have special needs kids. We don't ask for anybody to show us an affidavit of what their diagnosis is. No. We give those toys away and we give a Sensitive Santa experience. Now, that Sensitive Santa experience has been different in COVID. Let's not pretend otherwise. And, that it is what it is, right? Because for me, you can do something wonderful, but if it's not safe, then, I don't want to play. So we are once again partnering with the Ed Asner Family Center, and they're so fabulous. And we're going to talk about their gala that was last night in just a second. But we love the Ed Asner Family Center, and they've made a fabulous home for this. And once again this year, we are going to do this drive-through in an abundance of caution. Good morning, Mario. You're watching from the Bay Area in California. I'm so happy to have you here. Good morning and welcome. The Bay Area is probably a little too far to come, but that's unfortunate for the Sensitive Santa event because it's really, really a wonderful event. And I know a lot of people in different areas do this, and they do it in a lot of different areas and in a lot of different ways. So let me tell you a little bit about ours on Sunday. It will be a drive-through event. The good thing about that is that it's not going to take you very long, and that you have a little bit more control over, your kids are in the car and you have control over that. But what will happen is that you'll be directed to, you're going to have to wait in line a little in your car, and we have people signing up in half-hour increments. So there are still tickets, and it will sell out. So if you want to come, you should sign up right now on Eventbrite. If you go to Eventbrite and you put in the search button, put in Sensitive Santa Event 2023, it will show you there are more than one Sensitive Santa event, but ours is the only one that's Sensitive Santa Event 2023. And you will see that it's hosted by Autism Live and the Ed Asner Family Center. Then you know you're in the right place. You want to go into the tickets, and the tickets are free, but you must have a ticket. We will be, it's horrible and it's hard for me, but we will turn people away who don't have tickets and ask them to come back at the event, at the end of the event, to see if we have toys that are left over, because I have to honor the people who sign up for their tickets. So have a ticket, do that. So, and you have to, this year, it's a little bit different. You have to, because we want to make it smooth and efficient, you have to sign up individually for each member of the car that's getting a toy. And let me tell you who qualifies for a toy. Anyone of any age who classifies themselves as being special needs or neurodiverse, doesn't matter what age they are, they qualify. And any siblings that they have under the age of 18 also qualify. So each one of those people has to be signed up, and we ask some questions this time. Like, you can tell us the gender that the person identifies with if you choose to. That's not mandatory. But what we are asking for is an age so that we can put an age-appropriate toy together. Did you see what I just did? I'm about to, look, I just made it a box again. Wasn't that amazing? Okay, I feel like angels should sing. Traven, do you have angels to cue for sound? I Did you see how that just happened? It was absolutely amazing. It was brilliant. But anyway, I love these things so hard. So do sign up for each individual and tell us what their ages are, because that's going to make it quicker. When you get there, we're going to have things ready for you, which is really going to be amazing if I play this right this week. Santa will be there. Santa will be there, and everyone will get to see Santa and wave to Santa. And if you don't want to get out of your car, you can take as many pictures as you want from your car and have your kids see Santa, and they can yell things to Santa and do all of that. That's exactly what we did last year. What we're changing it up a little bit this year, because we feel safe enough to do this, is if you would like to, last year we didn't let anybody get out of their car. This year, if you choose to, we will allow you to park your car and to get out of your car to take a socially distanced picture with Santa, so that you have a picture with Santa. There won't be any sitting on Santa's lap, unfortunately, because we don't feel safe enough for you or for Santa for that. But, maybe next year we'll get to that again. But there is an opportunity to take a picture with Santa, but just socially distanced. So that's the deal. You will leave with a wrap toy for each one of those individuals that you sign up, but you have to sign up. Again, it's Eventbrite. It's free. It's free, y'all. There is no charge for anything. So we hope that we'll see you on Sunday. And Traven and I will be there. And of course, the people from the Ed Asner Family Center will be there. My son will be there. It will be a good time, guaranteed. And there will be really fun and emotion, and it's very exciting. So there's that. Please sign up. Go to eventbrite.com, go to the search and put in Sensitive Santa Event 2023, and then you'll pick the half hour that you want to come. And some of the half hours are already sold out. Just going to be honest about that. I'm cracking open my Shishibo again. And so make sure, and look, I got the star again. I'm getting better at this, you guys. Make sure that you sign up for each individual. Now, if you're the parent and you're driving the car and you don't identify as neurodiverse, you don't have to sign up yourself. But if you have a 22-year-old that is your child, that is now an adult, that is neurodiverse, you would sign them up. And if they have 16 siblings that are under the age of 18, you would sign each one of them up and give them a ticket, and you'll tell us what their name is, what their age is, and if you want to identify a gender, you can. You do not have to. But then we will pick toys for your family, which I really super love. And yes, so I will be there, and it will be a good time. So that's Sensitive Santa. Want to make sure that you guys have the 411 about that. Now we can dish. I can give you the tea on last night. So last night was the Ed Asner Family Center, their annual gala. They've been doing their gala now for years, but when the pandemic hit, they had to find, hi, Michelle, so thrilled that you're here. They had to find a way to still have a gala and still have engagement with the community and still raise money, but do it in a very safe way. And how could they do that and do that big? And I love them at the Ed Asner Center because they really think outside the box. And so they came up with a virtual table read. And so this was the third year in a row that they've done this virtual table read of the classic, It's a Wonderful Life. And every year we go, well, you're not going to be able to top that. So good luck. I don't know what you're going to do next. But I got to say, last night, it was so amazing. So here was the cast, you guys, or what I can remember of the cast. Brendan Fraser, who just this morning was nominated for a Golden Globe. I cannot wait to see The Whale, played George Bailey. And he was amazing, you guys. Now, here's the thing. The event was live last night, but I'm told that there's a way that you can still buy tickets for the next couple of weeks to watch it on your own if you were super busy and you couldn't do it. So go to the Ed Asner Family Center and see if that's correct. There's a rumor that you can still buy tickets, and really you should. There were several moments that were worth seeing that were just, to die for. So Brendan Fraser was absolutely amazing. There's just some actors that there's an earnestness about them that shines through them like a beam of light, and that definitely is Brendan Fraser. And his George was nuanced and lovely, and it was not an impersonation of Jimmy Stewart. It was just, really lovely to see. And I gotta say, of all 3 years, when they got to the end, I was so emotional. I was so choked up, and I was crying, and he had me, right? And then playing Mary is Christina Applegate, who I've always loved, thought that she was amazing on so many different things that she did. And if you haven't watched Dead to Me, especially season 3 of Dead to Me, she's going to get an Emmy because her performance in it is absolutely to die for, to die for. And of course, if you follow Christina Applegate at all, you know that she's been through some big challenges. That first, she went through realizing that she had the BRCA gene. I don't know that, I think that there was a tumor in her breast, but she found out she had the BRCA gene, and so she made the hard decision to go through a full radical mastectomy and go through that, and she was very outspoken about that. And now she's been diagnosed with MS and is, having some motility issues and dealing with a very critical disease, but it has upped her game as an actress. I can tell you that from season 3 and Dead to Me. And last night she was the quintessential Mary, and she was hilarious. So the thing that you really love about watching this is that not only do you get a ticket to something that's live, and I love live theater. I love the element that anything could happen at any moment. But a lot of times, you're watching what's happening on stage and you have no idea what's happening backstage, right? Well, the great thing about this event is that you kind of are treated to being backstage because the actors are all there in their little boxes and you can be watching all of them watch the other actors. And my husband started really early on in Act 1. He's like, oh my gosh, something's wrong at Brendan's house. Something is wrong. So look at him. He's panicked and he's, and then I was like, I'm watching him. I don't see what you're seeing because I was watching when he was saying lines, not in between. Because you know what? I was so busy watching Sue Ann Pine. Sue Ann Pine, who played Violet, Sue Ann, who played the lead in As We See It, was so in every single moment and just there and present when the other actors. She was just so delightful to watch. So I was watching Sue Ann Pine all the time. And he was like, no, watch Brendan. He's freaking out about something. Something's going on. And then finally you get to the scene where they're in front of the Granville house with Christina Applegate, and it's this lovely scene. And then all of a sudden Brendan goes, you guys, I'm just going to tell you, all is not well at George Bailey's house. And we were like, what's happening? What's happening? And he disclosed that his iPad wasn't charging and he was down to 3% and it might die. And that if he did, he needed Ken Jeong to take over George. It was a moment that will live, in infamy forever, because then Christina Applegate started talking to him and everybody's reaction. Oh my gosh, you got to be backstage as they tried to deal with the issue, and then they started again. And then of course, in the second act, Christina Applegate's dog started barking and she improv'd around it. It was hilarious, you guys, hilarious. So you need to watch it. And Ken Jeong, he played a bunch of different roles. He played Mr. Gower, brought me to tears. He played Harry Bailey. I mean, he's an actor. I don't think I knew that. I knew that he was a comedian and that he could act. I didn't know he was an actor. He is an actor, an actor's actor. And then, of course, there were so many other lovely people. I loved Brent Spiner in this. Brent Spiner was Data in Star Trek. I've always loved him. A brilliant, brilliant performance. James Cromwell, who played both Mr. Bailey and the dad, and he played the voice of God. And there was a scene with him playing the voice of God that was, I get goosebumps thinking about it. It was absolutely amazing. Don't ask me about Seth Rogen. I thought him as Clarence, I thought it was going to be brilliant. And it started out and it was brilliant. And then I don't know what happened. But I was disappointed in Mr. Rogen. I was a little disappointed, but you should tune in to watch that so you can form your own opinion and say, no, Shannon, I disagree. But I was so excited in the beginning of the show because I thought, oh, Seth Rogen's going to bring it. And then Seth Rogen did not bring it. Hop to Seth Rogen, because Brendan Fraser was bringing it and Seth Rogen wasn't. But, don't believe me. Go and tune into it. They also had an auction last night where they auctioned off so many signed scripts and signed clothing and Funko Pops. That was amazing to tune in and watch that with Whatnot. That is over, but I think you can still buy a ticket and watch the performance, and it was so worth it. And if you're at all in doubt about it, Yeah. Uh, the performance, uh, and of course, I'm like my brain is shorting out because it was that big of a deal. Um, the singer for the second intermission, the EGOT, I cannot. Jennifer Hudson. Okay, like my brain just went because all I could picture was her standing in this forest of trees as she sang Silent Night. It's worth the cost of admission to watch that, you guys. It was holiday making. Okay, so and you can go to the edasnerfamilycenter.org and you can buy a ticket. I think until the end of the year you can buy a ticket. It's worth watching. And a lot of money was raised for a good cause. And I didn't even mention Spencer Hart as Zuzu again. Absolutely amazing. And there were some other really talented actors that identify as being neurodiverse among the cast. That there was a group of young people that they refer to as center kids who, you know, have been taking classes at the center and had an opportunity to hang with the other people, the professionals. But can I just say, Chelsea Darnell stole the night because, you know, we love Chelsea. We've had Chelsea before on the show, and she had the monumental task of narrating Act Two after Phil Lamar, who has worked seamlessly as a voiceover actor for, you know, 30 years, was doing Act One, and Act Three was being narrated by Ben Mankiewicz from AMC. And Chelsea, God bless her, had Act Two, which is, I think, the hardest act to narrate, and she brought it. She went toe to toe with those two professionals who have been doing this forever and showed she's got it. I was so proud of her because I would have been shaking in my shoes. I would have said, no, thanks. I'll go home. Let those two do it. But she brought it, man. She was every bit as good and better as the two of those men, which, you know, that's saying something. You know what I'm saying? So, and Spencer Hart was delightful always as Zuzu. So amazing. And my favorite thing was watching Spencer in the auction. She blew those auctioneer guys out. She explained something to them about SpongeBob SquarePants, and they literally went, whoa! They were like, their minds were blown. I was like, there you go, Spencer. You do that. You bring it. Okay, so we're going to take a break here now, and we're going to go to this interview. We're going to show it to you in its entirety. If you watch the beginning, hang to the end, because these gentlemen say some really important things about how toys can interact with you and give your brain a break, but also be sharpening and honing your brain. I think you're going to really love it. So here are the co-founders of Fun and Motion Toys. They make this amazing toy. I did it again. Look at that. Okay. So check this out, and I'll be back at the end to answer any questions you guys have. Stick with us. Welcome back to Autism Live. I'm so excited right now because I have joining me via distance, I've got Kevin Daniels and Jimi Dennison, and they are respectively the co-founders. Kevin is the president, and Jimi is the senior vice president of Fun and Motion Toys. And I am holding one of the Fun and Motion toys here, the Mosey. And I've been having so much fun with it. We're going to be talking about the Mosey, and we're also going to be talking about the Shishibo, which I can't shut up about. But we're also going to take a minute to talk about some of their amazing other toys as well. I love these toys, and I'm so excited that I've had the opportunity to talk with these gentlemen because they're brilliant. So welcome to Autism Live, you guys.
Hey, thanks for having us.
We're so thrilled that you're here. If for those of you who have not already checked out our 2022 Autism Live Toy and Gift Guide, I'm showing you two of the amazing winners. The Mosey, this won the best sensory toy in our caregiver section, and I've told you guys before, we could have given this so many different awards, but what I loved about this is the amazing sensory input and the level of connection you could feel as a caregiver. All you have to do is pop this toy out, and when it goes, like, you just let go and it automatically opens. I'm sure that Kevin's got better tricks than me, but all I can say, I watched Rachel Bird and Kobe Bird hold hands and pass this back and forth, and the happiness. Oh, Jimmy's got one too. You've got a green one, Jimmy?
Oh,
I have Mosey envy now. Look at that. So this was our caregiver sensory input. Yep, that's the box that it comes in. So fabulous, fabulous. And of course, this is the second year that Shishibo has won an award in our toy guide, and this year it won the Boredom Buster for adults. But honestly, what is the age range that you guys put on the Shishibo? Because I imagine I would put this in the hands of many more people than adults. What age range do you guys say on it?
Yeah, we actually call it eight and up. And the reason we say that is just because younger kids might be a little too rough with it. You know, for example, you don't want a couple of 6-year-olds playing tug of war with it. So it's not that they don't love it. The younger kids really do love it as well, but it's better to have the parents supervising it. 8 and up, we feel is more comfortable. They're able to handle it, and it's not that it's extremely not durable. It is very durable, but it's just that for the younger kids, it's probably better to just have this adult supervision. So that's why we call it 8 and up.
Well, we super love this, and I had said to you guys yesterday, we had the opportunity to put this into a lot of people's hands, and I have yet to see a person on the spectrum have this put in their hands and not love it. It is hours of fun, and the amazing things that you can do with it. I'm not even good at it, but I love it, and I could spend hours playing with it, and I could spend another set of hours watching videos about it. But one of the things that I have not perfected is that you can put more than one Shishibo together and make crazy things with it. I don't know if one of you wants to show us putting them together, and then we can full screen you guys to see what you guys do with it, because I am a mere apprentice at this.
Okay. Well, I can go into it. I have 4 of the spaced out design here. So you can see even when you have more than one, you start to see symmetries. So that in itself is kind of cool how they come together. We have quite a number of different designs. This is one of our top sellers. People like color, so spaced out. And with one Shishibo, you can open it up into over 70 shapes. So as you may have seen, we were opening it up into the star. There's the UFO, which looks like that. It's kind of like a UFO. If you open the 3 points of the UFO, you get it into the rhombic dodecahedron ball. And a lot of this is just fidgeting around, and you'll find and stumble across the different shapes. This one we call snake. If I fold that together, it becomes a dome. And if you have 2 domes, they'll connect. There's magnets, 36 rare earth magnets. They're internal. They're not easily accessible. They're not accessible. So it's a safe magnetic toy. But that's what gives it the ability to hold shape. Otherwise, it would just flop around. And that's really the magical part of it. So when you have more than one, let's say, boy, there's so many ways we can go, but let me go with a star. So if I have 4 stars, so here I've got 1, I'm going to put that down. I'm going to open this and make another star. And that's one of the easier shapes to find. It stands out. I'm going to do that 4 times. 1, 2, now we're into 3, and I've got 1 more. And then what I'm going to do is when I have 4 of those, I can then take 2, all right, let's do it this way so you can kind of see. The magnets will connect them. So right now these 2 are connected by the magnets. I'll take a 3rd one, and it's a little fumbly because I'm trying to do it in the air. I probably should have it on the table, but let me do that on the table. It's a little easier to do that way. So you'll see, so that one just connected. So now I have 3 of them. So there's this one last little piece. And what I'm going to do is put this one to finish it off, and that goes right in here like that. And there we go. We have that structure, and it's actually pretty sturdy. So it's holding itself together just by the magnets. So that's one example. There's so many more because no matter what shape you get into, if you take multiples of them, even if it's just 2, for example, if I have this shape, the UFO, I fold this over, you get this kind of awkward looking shape, doesn't look like much. But if I do that with 2 of them, and let's see, I'm going to do the same thing. So now I have a second one, and if I combine those together, it actually combines beautifully into this.
Oh my gosh.
So a different box. And from there, you can actually open up the box in different positions. And if you add more, you can actually add. And it's just the exploration. So the way I think of it is with one, you can find all those 70 plus shapes and you get good at that. Once you're comfortable finding the shapes, now what can you do when you have 2 or 3 or 4 of them? We call it collect and connect. You can actually build some pretty large structures and it's pretty infinite.
It's amazing. That has to be one of the coolest things I've ever seen. And oh, and look, and Jimmy's got something going there too. And it does. I have to say, it's very sensory pleasurable. I don't know what it is about it that it's super soft. And everybody that I've talked to says that there is something so satisfying about the little click when the magnets connect. And you guys are big about flow, and I'm going to have you talk about flow in a second, but there is a very definite way that things go, and when you're going the right way, it all flows. But sometimes if you go a way that it's not meant to go, you'll just meet with resistance, and then you know that's not the way. So it teaches you how to use it. I absolutely love this, and I love this for everyone, but we must say this show is called Autism Live, and the guide was for Autism Live. There is something about this toy that is extra, is magic the right word? I think so, for individuals who are on the autism spectrum. And it's not just them, for more people than that. We're gonna get to some of the success stories that you guys have had, but I wanna take just a second and talk about how did you two find yourself with a toy company making these insanely fabulous things? Tell us the history behind Fun in Motion. How did it come to be?
Jimmy, let me let you chime in here.
Oh, sure. He normally does this part, so let's see. We started over a dozen years ago, and I think the company started really when Kevin and I met, and we met over a shared activity. I was teaching a class at a youth center in this art form that's kind of in the realm of juggling, but it's a ball on the end of a string. You hold one in each hand. You spin it around in all these cool ways, and it has these old roots to the people of New Zealand, the Maori. And I was teaching this class, and Kevin joined the class and started learning about the activity. And that was the beginning of our journey together, because we would take that class sometimes out to the beach. We're from Fort Lauderdale, that's where we're out of, and sometimes we would go out to the beach and we would make a bunch of these poi, that's what this activity is called, to give out to people and teach lessons, and it was always a big hit, really fun. At the time, it was hard to find LED light-up versions of this without going to some specialty stores overseas, and pretty much the company was born after Kevin bought some equipment overseas and didn't like its performance and its cost, and saw that we had this really, really great thing to share, and it was cost prohibitive for people to get into it. And we started with one product. Our first thing was spin balls, these LED poi, and it was all with this motivation to share this activity in a way that was fun, and the lights make it real fun. People often learn with just socks and bags of rice in the toes. So there's humble beginnings, but as you can see, those lights are really pretty and it makes it really fun. So that's where we started, and that was over a dozen years ago, and it's really kind of come a long way, one product at a time. The first one you were showing, the Mosey, that was our next product. And if the company started when Kevin and I met over this shared activity, it really took on the direction of the form it would become today when we added our second product. And I'll let Kevin talk about that.
Thank you.
Well, yes, Jimmy, hopefully I'm not cutting out if you can hear me. Something I always say, because it's true, is we never really intended to start a toy company. We just had this one thing, the spin balls, which I guess you were showing those. And that was just something we really enjoyed doing ourselves. And we saw these physical, mental benefits that we noticed in ourselves and other people around us got from it. So that was kind of like our mission, was why not spread this out to other people? And mostly it was like college age people doing it and older, but not kids. So we thought, wow, kids are missing out. There's a lot of these, whether it's rhythm, there's coordination, there's flexibility, dexterity. So there was mental and physical benefits. And then Mosey came out because of a friend that we were involved in who also did this sort of thing. And they had a toy that they were working with at music festivals, and that's what was ended up being Mosey. So we decided to work with them and put this out into the market. And we launched this the year that, if you all remember when fidget spinners came out, that was the year we came out with Mosey. And so it was kind of funny timing. And we didn't even know what fidgets were at the time. It wasn't as well known as it is now. But most of the toys that we do have a little bit of a fidgety component. And it's just one thing leads to another. Here we are now, Shishibo, as you said, this came along in 2019. It's going in our 5th year. And we keep hearing a lot from people about the physical, mental, but especially the mental benefits. So as we talk about autism and the spectrum, but we also ADD, ADHD, and also even Alzheimer's. So we've had plenty of emails telling us anecdotally how this has benefited people's parents, their kids, their grandkids, etc. And it makes us feel great because it's just such a nice thing. Not only are we having fun doing what we're doing, but we're helping people potentially with this. So that's really motivating. And then when we heard from Autism Live and you guys recognized our products and we got awards, that made it even better. So we really appreciate, being a part of that. So.
Well, and we're not your first autism rodeo. You were telling me the other day that you had attended an event that I feel like we're peripherally related because it was something to do with the Paskowitz family. So talk a little bit about, I guess it was with the Mosey that you guys were out there. Tell them what you were doing.
Yeah, so Izzy Paskowitz,